I wanted to highlight something because we know this. Luke, Joy, we've talked about this. Bradley, we talk about this. It's in our circle. We've said it a lot. But I'm not sure everyone has heard this, and you need to. And that is this fact. The pro-life industry has fought against Roe versus Wade for decades now with the assumption that Roe versus Wade is law and that it's done something to essentially legalize abortion federally or at the state level. Either way. That's how they fight it, okay? And so their big perspective is if we could just get the right judges on the court and overturn Roe versus Wade, this is all over with. That's kind of how they pursue it. Bradley Pierce has an amazing lecture on this point that we got to find a way to get on our channel so everyone can benefit from it. Bradley, if we got to fly you out here so you can redo it, we need to make it happen because he has an amazing lecture on why that is a fallacious form of reasoning. It hasn't worked in history. It will not ultimately work in the future. So waiting for the Supreme Court to overturn Roe versus Wade is a silly way to approach this. But the pro-life industry has pretended that Roe versus Wade is the main obstacle. We just got to overturn Roe versus Wade because that's like the law of the land. They fought that way. Interestingly, that's not in accordance with the Constitution itself. That's not how law is made in this land. And the second thing is the left, the pro-aborts, the pro-choicers, they understand and say publicly now that they know Roe versus Wade is not the law of the land. 2 points. One, during the town hall when Biden was trying to become president, and he was asked the question like, well, what if Roe versus Wade is overturned? He said that his goal was to give Roe versus Wade the force of law in our country, to make it legislation. So there's an admission that it's not the law of the land, and he has to make it the law of the land. When Texas did their heartbeat bill very recently, that's exactly what the White House press secretary, Psaki, said when she was asked about the bill in Texas. She says, well, just like he said in his campaign, we need to make Roe versus Wade the law of the land. We need to give it the force of legislation because they know it's not the law. Right. Why are the pro-choicers, why are the pro-lifers acting like it's law when the leftists are saying and the pro-aborts are saying it's not the law of the land? We got to make it the law of the land. I heard that on the ground last week. On Wednesday, I'm standing there in the crowd where the pro-aborts are. The woman is yelling and railing. I can't tell you how many F-bombs came from that microphone. It was epic.
She's a nasty woman.
It was, well, the whole thing was nasty. It was foul. I will say the contrast between the two crowds was stark. Let me just say it was like two different planets colliding. I mean, from the way people dressed to where they were behaving, what was coming out of their mouths, you could see it was like light and dark, trust me. But what she said at one point when I was standing there was she was talking about Roe versus Wade and like what this could mean if they overturn Roe. And she said, we've already got a commitment from Chuck Schumer. I think Schumer, she said, that he's going to put in legislation that gives Roe the law, the legal force in our country. And they're saying it from the pulpit in front of the Supreme Court that if they overturn Roe, we're going to have legislation go in federally that will actually make abortion law in our country. How come they know it? They're saying it publicly. And the pro-lifers, it's like, did everyone over there, did you hear what they just said? Did you not hear that? Like, you're all acting like this has to actually be a thing and has to actually happen before anything. You can make a move. But they just said in a microphone 20 feet away from you that they need to give this the force of law in our country. So if Roe goes down, we need to create legislation that makes abortion the law. I mean, they're saying it right in front of you.
Right.
So it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're in a fight with a terrible enemy, and like he's exposing his weakness. He's like, just put the kryptonite right there, and I go down. Just put it right inside there. This is my weak spot. And like everyone's like, well, I'm gonna go bite his ankles. Like I'm gonna go like chew on his ankles.
It's even worse. The pro-life largely, the community is still saying they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. It goes much further than that.
They're not even my enemy. They're not even trying to fight me. They're not even doing anything wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like, please recognize when you're in a battle.
Yeah.
Like that first step.
Yeah.
Step number one.
Right.
Recognize.
Know who your enemy is.
Right.
Know your enemy better than they know themselves.